up, bro? I don't give no fuck. Take the shirt out. Take the shirt out. Take the shirt out. You see the number 31. Take the shirt out, bitch.
You don't want you with me, but you don't want that door.
I'm talking about my name really a motherfucking game. Y'all sit down here and play with my motherfucking life like that. I'm talking about.
Playing with him now? I'll blow your goddamn. Get your ass out that door. Get out that door.
Miller!
Get out that door. Get out that door.
Miller, why you make them pull you to that point, baby?
Yeah, neighborhood Nip Pussy. Giving a shout out right now to SPR in the streets. Spotter Low, y'all already know what it is. Sourcing that. Neighborhood Nip Pussy. Big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Y'all see the title. From what I be understanding how it go down in the Chirac, it ain't no telling. Rest in peace to the broski who lost his life dealing with these demons, allegedly. And with no further ado, let's see what they been up to.
On May 29th, 2015, around 1:30 a.m. on the north side of Chicago, a woman is in a car with her father on Lawrence and Winthrop in the Uptown neighborhood when she notices a newer model car traveling in reverse on Lawrence Avenue coming from Kenmore Avenue with the rear driver's side door open. The car then reversed direction on Lawrence and turned back down Kenmore. As the woman and her father reached the intersection on Kenmore, they heard gunshots and saw a man running towards the car she had just seen with the back door open. The car then reversed again and went through an alley where it disappeared. Shaquan Thomas had just been shot multiple times in the back, and he was later pronounced dead. He's better known, of course, as Young Pappy. If you don't know who this is, I can only describe him as one of the best lyricists to ever come out of the Midwest, period, not just Chicago. But he's a very controversial figure, to say the least. He is, in fact, so influential that he's been dead for 10 years, and iShowSpeed, who is the #1 streamer on the planet, still called him his favorite rapper.
My favorite rapper? You probably don't know him. My favorite rapper is Young Pappy. That's my favorite rapper.
In 2 years, he did more to establish his legacy in hip-hop than most rappers do in a decade. But as soon as he was hot, he was dead. The Chicago police have a program called the Strategic Subject
Maybe that's why I never heard of him either. Rest in peace, Young Pappy.
List. This is a list created by an algorithm that ranks the likelihood of certain people either being shot or carrying out a shooting. In a sense, you can say it predicts the likelihood of someone being murdered by how high they rank on the list. And if that sounds a bit dystopian, that's because it is. There's nothing the police can really do to protect someone on this list, and most people in the city had no idea that it even existed. But to my knowledge, it hasn't been used since 2020.
That's crazy. You say 2020. I thought you were going to say since the late 80s or something. Damn.
But when Young Pappy was killed in 2015, he had a score of 500, which put him near the very top of the list. And the list was correct. To this day, no one knows who killed him. And while it's easy to say that just one of his enemies caught him, one rumor was always constant, that he was backdoored. Now, this is common when someone is murdered in the city, but where people get lost is when they state that one of his friends somehow set him up, because he was with a close friend, Duddy, the night he got killed allegedly, but I don't believe that. Pappy's circle was so close that at least 2 of his friends faced murder charges just defending his name. So the real question is, did the Chicago police give his location to the men who wanted to kill him? In Chicago, it's common for the friends of a guy who was murdered to say that their friend either wasn't killed by an enemy gang as a way to discredit that gang, or to say he was set up by someone if the death is too suspicious. What's not common, however, is for associates of the victim to insist that the police gave away his location to an enemy gang.
That's crafty, crazy, critical, crucial.
Now, before you say this is highly unlikely, I'd like you to consider an important fact. This is Chicago. In 2007, a suburban police sergeant in the Chicago area, Drew Peterson, was accused of murder for hire when he tried to have the state's attorney killed while he was being accused of killing his own wife, a crime he would later be found guilty of. In that same year, Jerome Finnegan, a Chicago police officer from the Elite Special Operations Unit, was accused of trying to have another officer murdered who was supposedly going to be a witness against him in a federal investigation. And also in the same year, a former Chicago cop, Edward Leak, paid to have the limousine driver of his uncle's funeral home assassinated. And in 2014, the year before Pappy's murder, Officer Jason Van Dyke shot a man as he was walking away with his back turned, and despite the fact that the whole thing was captured on video, he lied and said the man lunged at him with a knife, a story that was quickly disproven. And the officer was found guilty of second-degree murder, but he only served 3 years before being released. Now, although there are good cops in Chicago, there are many gangs of officers in the city that pretty much do whatever they want.
They need to bring the sheriffs in. Not like they gonna be no better. But I see why they talking about National Guard and all that, because the police is corrupt as
including these cops that in an unmarked car just pulled up and shot a teenager for talking to them and then told responding officers that they were being shot at. And another officer in 2023 who pulled up off duty to a block on the west side and just started shooting at a group of guys that didn't even see him. And then told
damn, that's how they was doing back in the 92 Peace Treaty days. Pulling up, doing drive-bys, and they was hitting their targets like right between the eyes, going down the block at 30, 40 miles an hour, things of that nature.
Responding officers that he was just defending himself when one of the guys shot back. And in case you were wondering, none of these cops faced consequences for their actions. The last cop that started a shootout only left the force once he was found to be intoxicated on duty, and they still let him retire. So this is just a reality in Chicago.
So you can kill black youth unjustly, keep your job, but you be loaded on duty, that's too much. You done did it, you gotta go.
Some cops are simply more dangerous than gang members, and that brings us to why the police would want someone like young Pappy dead. Now, as I said earlier, he was near the top of the strategic subject list, which, just being that high on the list alone, would make his mere presence a safety risk. His presence was such a problem for the police and surrounding community that 2 people were killed for just standing near him. In February 2014, Pappy was standing near a McDonald's at 6700 North Clark Street, along with several other teens, as Senn High School is only about 6 minutes away. Now, to say Chicago gets cold would be an understatement, and this was a cold winter day and snow covered the ground. But regardless, a masked gunman appeared, and even though Pappy was the intended target, 4 people ended up getting shot, including one that died, a 17-year-old boy. Pappy, however, escaped the situation unharmed. Then, months later, in July 2014, as his music was starting to blow up, Pappy was standing near a bus stop around West Devon Street in Glenwood and Rogers Park on the city's north side, while Will Lewis, a Guatemalan refugee who had come to the city and made a career for himself, stood and waited for the bus to arrive. But then, a man in his 30s, who had picked up 2 teenagers to do his dirty work, spotted Pappy near the bus stop.
Rogers Park in the Inglewood area of Chicago. That would be hella ironic if it was. Oh, my.
He handed guns to the 2 teens in his car and instructed them to kill Pappy. But they missed and ended up killing Will Lewis. So in just 5 months, 5 people were shot and 2 killed just for being near him. And all of this heavily contributes to the theory that police, possibly just the ones in the precinct around Pappy's area on the north side, might have wanted him out the way. The police from Rogers Park to Uptown were very familiar with him, as he has so many mugshots you can actually watch him age just by flipping through them. And it was well known by authorities that he was involved in a gang war, and that these shootings that hurt other people were all targeting him. So let's try to look at this from the perspective of a disgruntled unit in a police precinct, and also the strange circumstances of his death. Now, 2 huge reasons the police appear suspicious in his death is because, according to his own brother, the police stopped by his mother's house after his death and told her that they were happy he was dead.
The police came by my mama's house to her face and told us they glad, like, yeah, they glad your son died.
And also, Pappy actually started his final day alive in jail. And I'm not sure, just due to how many times he went to jail, but I believe this last time he was in jail due to the aftermath of his album release party, where over 150 people were present at his house, and it caused such a disturbance that everyone ended up being arrested or at least detained. Another thing that's unclear is how much time passed between him bonding out of jail and being murdered, but it was all the same night. Now, there was a police station just 10 minutes away from where he was killed, and his last arrest, if it did have something to do with this party, it would have probably just been a petty disturbing the peace charge, so he might not have been booked into the county jail, which would have been over 30 minutes away from where he was killed. For the killers to know where he was the night he got out, it would have taken some kind of inside knowledge, whether that be a friend of the killer locked up in the same place as Pappy and then watching him get out, or a local police officer. It's not like unprofessional arrangements with the police are out of the ordinary. And as I said before in another video, a cop picking up a gang member, or even just a suspected gang member, and dropping them off in a neighborhood they weren't supposed to be in did happen. And the way the shooting of young Pappy was carried out was also very unorthodox. The witness says she saw a brand new car reversing on Lawrence Avenue, coming from Kenmore. So the car was driving backwards from the street Pappy was killed on before the shooting. And all of this is happening while the back door on the left side of the car where the shooter was open the entire time. In all my years, I've never heard of a shooting happening in such a manner. One thing that makes me believe the shooters already knew he was on Kenmore is obviously the fact that the shooter's door was already open, and he didn't appear to be worried about being caught, as he was not described as wearing a mask or covering his face at all. Perhaps I was wrong about the direction the car was traveling. I considered that the witness never stated that she saw the car going down Kenmore, only that it was reversing on Lawrence coming from Kenmore, which are two intersecting streets. So
Confusing me with them streets. I can't picture it.
So it's possible the car was driving down Lawrence but missed Kenmore Avenue, so then it went in reverse, as if the shooters weren't from Uptown. Otherwise they wouldn't have missed his turn if they knew he was there. But Uptown is another thing that's suspicious to me. His hood was in the Rogers Park neighborhood, which is about 5 miles away from Uptown. And that's not to say he didn't have any enemies in Uptown, as he's even mentioned it in one of his songs. But in Chicago, most gangs engaged in a war, especially back then, were usually all in the same neighborhood. The shootings where bystanders were hit when Pappy was a target were both in Rogers Park, not Uptown. So could it be that the police in Rogers Park informed his enemies that he had just bonded out of jail and he was somewhere in the Uptown neighborhood? Again, looking at it from the point of view of a police crew that was tired of dealing with Pappy. His music brought something to the north side they had never had: drill music. And with this drill music came the broadcasting of a war that Pappy only seemed to intensify, as the north side was not seen as very dangerous in comparison to other parts of the city, even though gang wars have been going on there since the 70s with the white, Latino, and black gangs that inhabited the most densely populated part of the city. All of a sudden, you had a new generation of kids engaging in a war that far eclipsed anything that part of the city had seen since the St. Valentine's Day massacre carried out by the mob in Lincoln Park. And Pappy being near the top of the strategic subject list, the police would know that his death wouldn't be suspicious at all, and motive would be easy to establish regardless if the case was ever solved or not. And one way or another, it seemed if he didn't leave Chicago, he was going to end up dead one day. It's well known in Chicago that when a gang member is murdered in a neighborhood associated with their gang war, the case is far less likely to be solved than if that same gang member was killed in a more high-profile and upscale area of the city that has nothing to do with the gang war.
Yeah, that's not just in Chicago, that's any and everywhere.
If a police officer or a crew of them were to have some plot against him, this would be the perfect circumstance to get it done. And as for the police telling his mother that they were happy he was gone, that doesn't necessarily mean they had anything to do with it, but it does go toward the point that the Northside police saw him as a problem on the streets. And this list he was on, the mere existence of it, is proof that the Chicago police know that these guys didn't have long to live once it gets to a certain point. So why not just let it play out? The police wouldn't have had to give away his location. It was clearly easy to find him, as he had been shot at multiple times. Could it be that a situation was set up so that when he finally was caught again, it would be in an area and at a time with less collateral damage? It's unfortunate that with the immense talent he had, young Pappy lived a lifestyle that simply wasn't sustainable. Do I believe the police somehow gave away his location to people that wanted to kill him? I'm not sure. Do I think it's possible that something like that could happen in the city of Chicago? Definitely.
Not just Chicago. My mama.
But the same with most kids like Pappy. It all could have been avoided. Rest in peace to the innocent bystanders that were killed, and rest in peace to young Pappy.
logos on that SS shit. It's that mafia shit. Chunk of my fingers when they take me a flick. 30 or better when we load up clips. My cup get low, this bitch know that I'm lit. Tryna fire out this wood, but can't find my bitch. Chunk her the deuces, I get a new bitch. Michigan logos, that mafia shit. Box, Chevy on foes with the pipes on that bitch. It don't get no better than this. It's that mafia shit. Nah, it don't get no better than this. I'm the truth, nigga, get off my dick. I'm a mafia crib. Michigan logo on the back of the whip. Michigan logo on my flesh, boy, this shit to the death. Don't wanna slide, then I'm straight to the net. Pass for a bag, then I'm straight to the set. My cup on full, with a gang of my wet. Wanna beef with the set? Bring a gang of your best. From the big to the little, from the babies to the tiny, from the infants to the newborns, with the locs where you find me. From the players to the hustlers, even the non-affiliates. He ain't from the hood, but he was born in it. Blood blue in my veins, I'm born with it. Daddy, uncles, brothers, and cousins, they did it. Since a kid, I grew up seeing Crippin', no cap. Michigan jersey, this a throwback. Ain't gotta holler mafia, they know that. Chunk of my fingers when they take me a flick. 30 or better when we load up clips. My cup get low, this bitch know that I'm lit. Tryna fire out this wood, but can't find my bitch. Chunk her the deuces, I get a new bitch. Michigan logo, that mafia shit. Box, Chevy on foes with the pipes on that bitch. It don't get no better than this. It's that mafia shit. Top off the Remy Martin, I hit my targets. These bitch ass niggas ain't got me started. A push of a button and I can start it. He ain't take the deal, cuz 40. Spark that pistol the first night I bought it. Chunk of my fingers when they take me a flick. Yeah, that. It's a Chevy SS sounding just like a Hellcat with 2 pipes on it. I said it, I stand on it. Off the back, like I'm from the 40s. What you know about gold trophies? Gold chains and gold rags on me. Only politic with real homies. I know all my big homies. We put the hood on the map, hopping out a scat pack. All blue hat that say Baymax. The motherfucking truth. Why the fuck would I make it up? We be putting belt to ass. Them niggas don't play with us. They hit me up and I'ma holler mafia crip. On the count of 2, take my flick. Yeah, that. Chunk of my fingers when they take me a flick. 30 or better when we load up clips. My cup get low, this bitch know that I'm lit. Tryna fire out this wood, but can't find my bitch. Chunk her the deuces, I get a new bitch. Michigan logo, that mafia shit. Box, Chevy on foes with the pipes on that bitch. It don't get no better than this. It's that mafia shit. Yeah, that. Big M's, that was to be exact. Mafia crib. Holla which one I say all of them. Believe that.
I was trained in the truth. I bang in the booth, drop the top on the coupe and let the rain in the roof.
Yeah, neighborhood that bustin'. Giving a shout out right now to SPR in the streets. Spotter Low, y'all already know what it is. Source neighborhood that bustin'. Big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.